Justin. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. So you wrote and directed Kicks. Is this your first time directing? Can you tell us about playing that dual role?
Yeah, it's my first feature as a director. I've worked on other scripts in the past, and I produced a movie called Lowriders with Universal and Blumhouse, like in the midst of all this. But it was my first feature, and I only had directed shorts before this.
Well, congratulations, and visually it certainly was beautiful. I want to talk about, of course, the film was certainly uncomfortable to watch. Being honest, the negative images of Black people were kind of shown in this film, and I think a lot of times those images are used to justify the murders of Black people. And given the current climate of this country, what message does a film like this send?
Well, I personally think it's really sad that people might associate, just because violence takes place in a community that America created, and these characters the kids in Kicks are born into a world like Richmond and Oakland that were created and socially and economically isolated from the world just from systemic racism. Like, that's a tragedy in and of itself. And I think that anyone who's going to watch any kind of community and watch teenagers deal with their circumstances and violence and somehow associate that with the justification of, like, police brutality is what's wrong with the conversations in America. Like, that makes no sense to me. They should be completely exclusive of each other.
Yeah. So I think, the reality is the film definitely is predominantly African American, and so I can't help but wonder if the characters in the film looked like you, would that change the narrative of the film?
No, because this did happen to me. It did happen to me. And I could not go to my grandma's house because my uncle was running game. It was the same situation. But it's an important question and conversation to have, no matter what, because I think right now, especially in political climate and how we talk about things, is it cultural appropriation, or am I just co-opting like a lifestyle just to exploit it? And I knew, these might be questions I'd be asked, but I have cousins that are half Filipino, half Black, half Filipino, half Mexican, and I can't deny the fact that I grew up in Black culture too. Like, that's the history of America. It was still important to me to address the issues of sneaker violence because it is an epidemic, and it was important to me to address, the reasons why the cycle of violence kind of go hand in hand with the cycle of poverty, whether it's not explicitly stated. Those are themes that, underlying themes that I was trying to speak to, just the idea of masculinity and why it's taught the way it is to the youth.